What's up guys, Tonk here, bringing you today a tank commentary video while playing on Zava 311. And this round will be a good example of how to fight back when your team is near to get base raped. When literally the only thing that's holding them back from base raping your team is your tank and your infantries around you. As you can see right now that we almost lost every single flag other than Echo, and I'm gonna try to do my best to hold Echo. And if you find yourself on the US side of Zavod, and you're near to getting base raped, the best thing you can do then is just to fight for Echo. And why Echo? Echo is an important flag because it's the last holding point between your team and the enemy team, setting up a little camp in front of the hills of your base and then starting to base rape you, and then you will probably never get out of that base rape. As I'm already on an 800 streak over here, trying to kill as many people as I can on Echo so that we start to neutralize the flag, because the flag will not neutralize until your team starts to outcap the enemy team. As you can see, I'm the only single thing over here on Echo other than the AA that's right behind me, helping me a bit. And this kill streak is going massive at the moment. But that doesn't mean much if there is nobody around you to capture that flag. And finally some infantry started to push in over here after seeing that I'm trying to clear this flag over here. And to be honest, LMG, Coaxial LMG in situations like this, when there is a lot of people that you have to kill, really suits good if you can aim decently with your main gun. If you can splash the enemy team decently so they would receive like 70, 80 or 90 damage, unless you really kill them with the splash damage, then the Coaxial LMG is a perfect finisher, to be honest. A better finisher than HMG will ever be, simply because of the high rate of fire. But for killing infantry when they're on 100% health, only with LMG will take a while unless you splash them before, like I said. So it's a good finisher move for that. And you will see this round a hilarious situation where I got stuck on a tree stump and it took me like 60 seconds to get out of it. But yeah, and this is a video, add-on video to the video of the Ask Tonk series last week, when somebody asked me how to counter base rape. And above the things that I said that you should use your jet or the little bird to bail on the flag, I cannot do that right now because I already have the tank and nobody else is doing it. And it's kind of hard to explain random people on the battlefield in the game chat how they should get out of the base rape. I mean, we are not in a base rape still. We have a lot of forces on Echo. And where we would initially lose this round heavily, we only lost it in the end by like 200 tickets, which isn't that bad. Considering how vastly superior enemy team was compared to my team. And this is another example of how tank cannot win a match alone without infantry helping you. And there I am stuck on that fucking tree stump over here. And these things are really dangerous when you come to Echo. If you get stuck on one of them, then it's really hard to get out of it. And my problem is why I get stuck of them is that they're not actually shown on the minimap, like there's an object behind you, so I would literally have to physically turn my cannon around to check if there is something behind me killing me, or that I'm stuck on an obstacle that will eventually get me killed. Since in Battlefield 3 you also didn't have that option with the BF3 minimap. It only showed you buildings, houses, concrete stuff. It never showed you the actual environment and the foliage. But Battlefield 3 minimap was much more clearer than the Battlefield 4 one. So I tend to get stuck a lot on environmental things unless I'm really watching where I'm driving. But if I'm trying to fall back in full reverse, then it will happen likely that I'm gonna get stuck on the trees on Zavod, on an open field like this in front of Echo. And now we are finally taking Echo, and I cannot give a good estimation of how many people there are on Echo left. We are capping it right now, but you always have to keep in mind there are people, as you see right now, there was a guy hiding in the house over there, and you always have to keep that in mind. Even if the flag is beeping at things, and that doesn't mean that they're on the flag, but they can be in the radius, maybe somewhere around in the forest or in the house, like the guy behind. So keep in mind for that every time, regardless of the map you play. Always after you capture the flag, stay on the flag for like maybe 10-15 seconds and see if somebody's gonna try to do some mojo on you on that particular flag. And Zavod can become really chaotic if the enemy team and your team is playing aggressive. Now my team is not playing aggressive over here, but the enemy team is, and I like this aggressive style of play. It kind of reminds me of good old Battlefield 3 maps like Scenic Crossing or Operation Firestorm. Even North Shore Canal's Conquest, which was a really bad map for tank, but if they would get aggressive once you get to the canal area of North Shore, it would be a really fun map to play. And I wanted to ask you guys, what's your experiences with Zavo 311 as a map? Do you find it good for tank? Do you find it bad for tank? Do you like it? What's your problems with it? And while we are on the topic of what's the problems with Zavod, like what's your personal feelings regarding the map? I have only 2 complaints on the map, and these are really minor. The first thing is the horrible terrain physics. Like the holes in the ground are really amazingly big for some reason. And while I wouldn't have problems with that, but the vehicle physics of tanks and LAVs and literally every vehicle in Battlefield 4 is quite bad. So I don't like these holes in the terrain. That I mean, I'm up for holes in the terrain, but not a fucking crater from a meteor where I drive inside of it and then I get stuck in it because of the vehicle physics, as a tank cannot get out of a hole like that in Battlefield 4. So that's the things I don't like. And the second thing, and that's not so much of a problem because I'm running thermal camo, so it's not that easy for a mobile artillery to kill me. But I don't think mobile artillery really has a business to do on this map. I mean, this map has a fair amount of vehicles already, as tanks, LAVs, anti-aircraft, transport helicopter, Little Bird. I just think there is too much stuff on this map. I'm not saying they should remove anything. I'm just saying there is too much stuff on this map. And maybe making Zavod a bit bigger, adding like another flag or maybe 2 flags each, would really spread this fight around a bit, that it's not so clusterfucked in the middle of everything. And luckily, I managed to take down this guy who was trying to get into Charlie. And here we go. We finally managed to capture 4 flags with good effort from my team and me. And this fucking LMG I'm putting really to good use, and I'm really impressed of how good of a finished secondary for a tank it is. It's just that the thing is so useless on anything other than on like Zavod and Dawnbreaker, that I really refuse to make a guide on it, because what should I tell you guys in it? That you should use LMG on Dawnbreaker and on Zavod 311? I can tell you that in a video like this without making a guide on it and wasting your time and my time. So if you want to give it a try, I would highly recommend Zavod and Dawnbreaker. Granted, as I said, that you can splash them good with your main gun. And once you get into a position where you can aim good with your main gun on enemy infantry, everything will become easier. You will later on get experience to take down people that are head glitching on rooftops, like sometimes I can do. You will even kill people on really high ranges with HMG and LMG. You just need to learn how to lead your shot properly. That's the main thing with every weapon in Battlefield 4. If you know how to lead a shot and you can kill people, you need to know how to aim a bit above their head to kill them when they're on harder ranges. And a lot of you have been asking me if I can make a guide on how to shoot on a long-range distance attack. Well, I can tell you theoretically how that is supposed to be done, and you can see me doing that in most of my videos I post. It really comes down with just experience with tanks and time played in a tank. And you can compare that to a TV gunner for an attack helicopter. If I would now enter an attack helicopter with an experienced pilot, like for example Turbo Pummel, a friend of mine, and I would go into the TV gunner, I would be not as good as his gunner that he has usually, because that guy is a dedicated TV gunner and I'm not. So dedication always brings you something more than somebody who isn't dedicated to something. You can also say that for dedicated recons, a dedicated recon will get eventually good with the sniper rifles, and he will always, most of the time, kill you in a 1-to-1 recon fight against longer ranges, obviously. So that's my answer on how to shoot long range with your secondary tank weapons. It's just some experience and some time spent in tank, and literally just playing tanks, and then after a while you will naturally understand them better, understand the physics of it, the gravital drop and everything, and it will be really a piece of cake for you to kill people on long ranges. And I can tell you from my experience, that's the first thing that comes with tank after experience. The first thing you will get with experience is situational awareness and target prioritization. And to not go in depth about both of those, because I will make a tank guide on both situational awareness and target prioritization. Situational awareness is something, and I can give you an example of it right now. If you're a tank on Echo right now, and there's 2 infantries on my right, let's say, and 2 infantries on my left, and there is a tank in front of me. If you can see that the people on the right cannot shoot you, then you will focus on the tank and the people off the left, which means good situational awareness, and that you understand where all those people are located. So that's the simple explanation. And target prioritization is shooting the people that are the highest threat to you in that particular moment. So if you see behind a tree an engineer, a support, and a recon, and you are like, let's say 40 meters in front of them, and they cannot come close to you, you will always go to take out the engineer first, because at that particular moment the supporter guy with C4 mojo and the recon guy with the C4 are at that moment not a particular threat to you, because they still need to run like 40-30 meters to come to you. So you can easily take out the engineer and then take out the other people. And well, the reason for this is that you will avoid getting hit by throw or RPG in the worst possible moment, because if you're gonna focus on the recon guy and the supporter first and let the engineer leave, then he can eventually deal some damage to your tank, and if not, even kill you. Single engineers are really dangerous in this game if they're not dealt with properly, and so that's target prioritization. But all in all, in depth, I'm gonna talk about this in the tank guide when it's due time. And if you check now the tickets, my team is starting to neutralize everything. And I see here an LAV behind me, and this becomes a really dangerous situation when you have an enemy LAV behind you. If you get the top missile to the ass, you're basically as good as dead. But I managed to take him down, and I was lucky to spot him, and that is something called situational awareness. Simple explanation. He was behind me, I looked at the minimap, and I managed to save my tank. As somebody took Mrs. Daddy's spot, so I couldn't really post that thingy, and I want you I will not include her camera in this particular video, just because some of you asked that you want to see the chat. Well, there was nothing spectacular happening in this chat. I'm just gonna leave it so because you guys requested it. So yeah, as my tank just started spinning 360 because I was stumped on the same fucking tree stump again, and caused me some difficulties. And here I am again on Echo, because as I said, it's the last stronghold point between the middle flags and your base. But as you see, we are losing every flag, and literally the worst thing for me to do right now is just to drive randomly on every single flag, and I wouldn't do any good. So I'm just gonna try to neutralize Echo here if I can, as I see an enemy LAV again coming from F. And this is what I said earlier in the earlier about videos I made. This F flag is really fucking annoying when you have to fight on 2 fronts, and this is an example of fighting on 2 fronts. They have F, I have to kill them there, and they have all the flags in front of me, and I also have to cover for that angle. As if you check my minimap right now, they're already pushing me from the front flags, and that is a situation that becomes really dangerous, and you have to watch out for it. Now, I also wanted to ask you, what do you think about flood zone as a map? Because I have a really decent flood zone round I played in an LAV, and I never really made a flood zone video. But there are really some nice spots you can have on flood zone with the LAV, where you can make some good kills and where you can cover the flags pretty decently. So if you guys would like to watch some flood zone and hear me comment on it, then just say it and it will be up. I also wondered about the VOD. How come that there is so much obstacles on this map that are indestructible? Like half of these buildings are indestructible when it comes to taking down walls and stuff. Like this building right next to me in Echo, you can destroy, but like the buildings in the middle, you can just take down like 2 or 3 walls, and that's it. Like, and it looks to me that you can that they should be easily destroyed. Like this windows and stuff. I wish you can like take the whole fucking upper floor down, the upper rooftop, so that they wouldn't go on that rooftop anymore. I think that would be a nice addition to Zawad, that you can take down a rooftop with a good amount of tank shells, so they cannot climb on it. So that they would be forced to play on the first floor of the flag. And what I'm doing here right now, I'm standing in front of Charlie, and I'm just hoping that some of these infantries that are behind me are gonna push on the fucking flag to capture it. But that's just simply not the case, and I got impatient over here, and I decided that I'm gonna push on my own. And that's a bad thing. This flag is a really bad flag to push, and as you see, this is in essence of a bad team. No, I'm in front of Charlie, and nobody's gonna push inside it to do damage to the enemy team. And then I was obviously I have to pull back because I'm low on health and because I'm starting to take too much pressure from infantries. And that's that. But as I said, the good thing is that I didn't allow my team to get base saved, and I'm proud of it. I always try to do that, if possible, not to allow the base rape. And I wanted to say something else, and that's about smoke screen. As you can see, it works pretty good on Zavod, as I'm not taking too much attention and too much hate from RPGs as I should, because in combination with thermal camo, the smoke screen, which can unspot you really fast, really comes in handy when you need to unspot yourself to avoid like the last RPG shot, and you need to pull back and things like those. I also wondered what the game would be like if they would reintroduce Battlefield 3 smoke into Battlefield 4. I would gladly trade my active protection 24/7 for Battlefield 3 smoke, because Battlefield 4 smoke, while it is good as it is on most of the maps, on maps like Lacking Dam and Gomud Revel, I would myself go for active protection simply because there is too much tanks everywhere, and you really need a counter measure like active protection to save your ass in most of the situations. I also hoped that maybe after a while that DICE would maybe introduce some of the stuff from Battlefield 3 game mechanics, and I'm talking about getting rid of mobility hits and reintroducing the classic disable system, which in my opinion was much better than mobility hit. If you get disabled with a tank in Battlefield 3, you can still slowly fall back into cover. You can turn your tank. You're just not stuck in the middle of a flag being immobilized by a mobility hit. And I wish that system would be reintroduced, as I'm gonna take down this little bird from the sky, who was a pain in the ass since the start of the round. So coming back to that disable system on Battlefield 3, I'm thinking it would kind of make Battlefield 4 playing in vehicles much more fluent than it currently is when it comes down to physics and getting me immobilized by a random RPG. I mean, I have no problems with mobility hit. I rarely get them, really. I definitely get them less than I was at the start of the game, because I learned how to maybe position my tank properly and stuff. But if they would be to completely remove and just reintroduce the disable system, so that once your tank is below 50 HP, you get classically disabled, and your tank will start to burn and lose health over time, giving you the same thing that you can move back and retreat for cover. And here I am on Charlie again, and I'm getting stuck on one of these old Russian tanks. And here I received a critical mobility hit to the ass, and I'm close to death. And the only thing that's holding me alive here is Mrs. Daddy, as I'm trying to take down the guy who will potentially deal me the last blow. And I managed to take him down. And if you look right now, I'm right inside Charlie, and all these people that are behind me are simply refusing to go inside this fucking flag. And that is how rounds are lost in Battlefield 4. In Battlefield 3 is when your infantry are just a bunch of people who don't know how to push on a flag when required. And the people who are on Charlie right now are actually the guys who are in the tunnel between Delta and Charlie. And that's fucking unacceptable when you try to do decent for your team and they never pay you back, and that they don't pay their share by pushing flags with you. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope it was a good example of how you could maybe prevent the base rape when it comes to that. As we didn't get base rape, we lost the match obviously, but we didn't lose that substantially as we would lose if my tank and some of the infantry from our team didn't do their job properly. We would get base rape heavily, and it would be really hard to get out of that thing, considering that the enemy team did really good in this particular round. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and so let me know about Flood Zone if you want to really see Flood Zone, because I know that it can become a really boring map after a while, but since it never was featured, I would be happy to oblige. So take it easy, and thank you for all the continued support, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.